It's gonna get loud in your ears, boys.
Good morning, happy Sunday morning to all our viewers out there. This is the Village Idiots podcast. I'm Eric,
I'm Tim.
and we have a guest today. Brother Larry Wilson. Hot off his heels into a senior geeker and a master racing degree yesterday.
That's right. Did a great job yesterday.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful to see everybody and have the support. Everybody, great.
I'm so happy you took that over. I was so happy to be able to do that for you, and to know that I would have fucked up so much worse than you did. No, I totally would have.
I
You're
appreciate that.
You did a great job, brother, and how did that feel to actually do that for your own son?
It was great. Well, it was terrifying. I was really nervous. I was having a very hard time with it. I'm not good at memorization. I'm not good with. Yeah, it's more memorization. Like I'm fine public speaking. I'm fine in office situations, but it is amazing how things shift on you when all of a sudden you're not talking to a wall. You're talking to somebody across from you.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's you.
And you forget the simplest things, you know. Right angles, perfect things, and, But it was once the ball was rolling in motion, it felt good.
No, and you commanded the floor perfectly. Like there's not one part of the degree that it looked like there was a mistake. Everything just kept flowing one to the next, and you kept it moving. That was your job. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you. Well, all the rows did. I mean, the village does a fantastic job with all of our degrees.
We do.
Your
think
own did.
It's that's kind of a universal thing. We hear that from a lot of brothers who come here.
Yeah.
But we put a lot of work in. It's
Yeah, we even built the temple without too much difficulty, considering we didn't have the floor plan and we didn't have the tape on the floor because we've got the new tiles down.
Oh yeah.
So
Now, is the top of it touching the ceiling? I couldn't tell.
there's like maybe a half inch.
Yeah, it's like millimeters. It's like millimeters like that. But
Wow, we got lucky then.
it's been that way for years.
Didn't they lower the ceiling when they changed the lights
they
or
dropped
something?
I should know this because I'm part of the people that signed off on all that. But
Well, it looks great.
I'm not entirely sure.
No, I'm pretty sure Nick said that they dropped it.
I think they did. You get these old buildings and you have to make compromises.
Yeah.
We make a lot of compromises with the things that we do. And this building was built in 52, 53, sometime in the first half of the 50s. So.
Yeah, Bill Bowman's wife was in kindergarten here.
Yes.
She keeps fighting to have a plaque put down where her table is. And I'm okay with that. I think
That'd be cute.
Part of the historical nature of this building, I think we should have something like that. Why not? Then she's enshrined in forever in this building. And
Maybe. Right now we just have to figure out what we're going to do for a lower level renovation. Once we figure that out, then we can move on to maybe other things. But yeah, this used to be a preschool and a preschool.
Yep.
They did preschool down here. It's had a bunch of different iterations for public use over the years, and yeah. So
how you doing, Tim? How was your week been, man?
Busy, man. Busy, but that's kind of what happens, This time of year, there's just no. I think I'm running from here to a birthday party. I have no idea.
Yeah, we got that next week too.
So it's always just going from one place to the next and one place to the next, and
And
it'll
then
never end.
It'll be our table lodge, and it'll be our holiday party.
Yep, table lodge. Oh man, the holiday party.
Yeah, that's the week after the cable lodge.
Yep.
Yeah, this may be one of those years where I have to make a choice.
Installations.
Yeah, we have multiple installations.
Multiple installations.
Well, we have this installation. I have the one at Seneca, and I have a rainbow installation the same day as our installation.
So I have to run from here to there.
Oh, are we doing installation on the 4th?
Yeah, and then they're having theirs on the 4th as well, but they're having it in the evening, so I have to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Won't even be able to enjoy our dinner, but that's okay. You know, the things we do for our girls.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm the same. It's been a busy week for me. Luckily, I have tomorrow off, which I'm going to spend working because I have projects coming up for work that I need to get in front of and not fall behind. You know, you boys know how it goes.
No, yeah.
But let's talk some football, guys.
Yeah.
We'll start with last week. Everything seemed to plateau last week. Nobody had a huge game. We had a couple of games in the 140s, but nobody had a blowout game like.
Yeah, no blowout games last week.
Maybe this week.
Maybe this week. Yeah, no, that's looking good. Well, no, Justin kind of spanked Andrew.
Yeah.
But but if we dive into that matchup, does Andrew set a lineup, Larry, or does he just kind of let it roll?
He just set it and forget it. That's hence the
I tried,
but he didn't. And I'm telling him, like, man, you got to put a little bit of effort in because you don't want to just give it away because now it's harder to catch up to our two-time champion Justin.
I've heard from reliable sources he wants that license plate. I mean,
maybe, but I mean, we've got quarterback who put up 0 points. We've got a wide receiver who was on a bye, put up 0 points. So yeah, and he left. I mean, he doesn't have a backup quarterback on his bench.
No.
Left a lot of meat on the bone at running back, a lot of meat on the bone at wide receiver.
But even if he made those changes with who he has on his bench.
Oh yeah, no, he's still not beating Justin. I'm just talking So remember, not only does it come down to win-loss record, but it will come down to points.
Yep,
if
absolutely.
We've got a tie, it could come down to points, and that's something to look at. So that's the only one that that and Chris Olsen, he took it to Rithia pretty bad.
Yeah, he sure did.
But yeah, the rest of everything was pretty.
Well, and I took it to Chris Ozog as well.
Did you though?
Love you, right, Worship.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I had the blowout of the week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did have the blowout of the week. Look at that. I mean, what happened there though? I mean, Chris is usually we had.
What's that mean against Z Moss was off roster?
Well, he's off his roster now. So since we're looking at, he was on the roster last week.
Yeah, we're looking at last week's numbers.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and he was out. He's gone for the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, we got injuries to talk about. We definitely got injuries to talk about this week. But I mean.
Yeah, I mean he's had a string of bad luck. Madison is inconsistent. Keenan Allen has his contract now, so he's okay with Roma Dunze taking it to the house and DJ Moore. I mean that team is stacked, and there's always a lot going on. And he's got his money, and he's being a leader to the other wide receivers, so he's okay with not scoring. And then his defense, Green Bay, put up 2 points for him.
Yeah.
And you really can't put a defense up against Detroit. You just can't. Detroit's going to find a way to. They're scoring points this season. They don't care. They don't want to slow down.
Well, that's been Dan Campbell's MO, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just whatever. He's kind of the whatever it takes guy. I mean, whatever it takes, we're going to get it. 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 And then, and that's the way it should be. 100%. That's the way it should be.
Until the championship game when he could have went for a field goal and he opted not to, and but I
well, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, I've said this before on this podcast. I love the balls in the guy. Like he's the type of coach that I like to watch his team work.
Oh yeah, no, he's a ballsy dude. So it's really just about carrying the momentum.
Larry, how'd you do last week?
I did all right, but let's see. Nick had like some ridiculous.
Yeah, he
41.
Yeah,
41 points.
Joe
with
Burrow, man,
Burrows.
and he did that again this week. He put up a huge number again this week. He's back. He starts off slow, I guess, and he's ramping up. He wants those playoffs, buddy. He wants to beat the Chiefs, and he's really the only quarterback that has consistently beat the Chiefs. Well, not consistently. I think his record's fallen to 2-2 now. But coming into the year, he was 2-1 against the Chiefs, against Mahomes, and he had a winning record. But yeah, he's coming back in force. I mean, there's nothing you had Sam Darnold, and he put up 31 points. That's no slouch.
My guys did okay, but it's just trying to overcome that. And then he had Saquon Barkley.
Oh yeah,
with like
34.9
with his reverse.
That was insane. That was absolutely insane. I mean, dude, everybody knew he was a stud.
Yeah,
and you know he did very well in New York. But you've got, I mean, at this point, if you are the New York Giants,
you are kicking yourself.
You're clean. Well, no, you're cleaning house. You have to.
No, absolutely.
You know, terrible choices across. How is Daniel Jones still your quarterback after 5 years? How is he still your starting quarterback?
But the GM makes that decision, right? So it
depends on how it's structured. I mean,
yeah, that's what I don't know how they're structured.
I don't know how they're structured, and I mean, honestly, it's kind of irrelevant when you think about it. I mean, at this point, Logan knows that he's got to go. I mean, it's not, you know, it's gone beyond academic. You have enough data now. The guy's not getting better.
No,
he's not an NFL quarterback.
But is some of the blame left on the O-line, though? I mean,
no. Enough blaming it on the offensive line and this, that. Like, the dude doesn't make plays. All right? Eli Manning had crappy offensive lines. Eli Manning made plays. Peyton Manning made plays. Tom Brady made plays. Like, yes, the offensive line plays a huge role in protecting the quarterback. But at some point, the quarterback has to instill confidence and faith in that offensive line. Like, you've got my back, I've got your back.
He has Malik Neighbors. Like, he's a hot rookie who's not doing anything. He's wasting away right now. He had flashes, but he's limited by Daniel Jones right now.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're not ready to make, you know, at this point, flip it around. Go to New England. We all knew this was going to be a different year, rebuilding year, new coach, new everything. Rumors already circulating that Bob Kraft's done with Gerard Mayo. Already.
Wow.
Now, obviously, nobody's pulled the trigger, and I heard it, you know, it was one source on ESPN, you know, but they're already contemplating making a move. Probably not in the middle of the season. That's not Bob Kraft's MO. But I could see Gerard Mayo being out next year. You're done. You had your chance. You couldn't do it.
Then who do they go to, though?
Who knows? I mean, you know, this is the NFL. There, you know, it'll be a coach's market come January.
You think Belichick's coming back?
I think Belichick's coming back, but I don't think he's going back to the Patriots. I think he's going to end up
for the Jets.
Giants.
Giants, maybe, yeah.
You imagine him landing to the Giants and they turn it around.
Incredible.
You know, but he, you know, I mean, he's a Parcells guy.
Oh yeah.
Right? You know, you had all those coaches sitting there on the sidelines with Bill Parcells, you know, and he was, I mean, arguably the greatest coach in the 1980s. I mean, him and Bill Shula, right?
Yep.
But, I mean, everybody. Bill Parcells, everywhere he went, he won. I mean, the Jets were good under Bill Parcells.
Yep, they sure were.
They couldn't win a championship, but they were good under Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
And it was that attitude. You know, I think we've permeated the leagues with, you know, and football it's not to the level of the NBA, and I think I've said this before, where, you know, one player will dictate coaching decisions. But you kind of saw that, you know, true or false. Well, you saw it a little bit in New England.
Yep.
Did we see it with Aaron Rodgers this year with Salah? Salah getting the axe there in New York? Maybe, who knows? Obviously, none of us were in the room, but
come on.
You know, football's that quintessential team game. You know, Patrick Mahomes can be the greatest quarterback ever. He doesn't have someone to throw to, or he doesn't have a running back,
or a center
anything like that, or a center.
Doesn't
matter how good his arm is.
Nope.
Doesn't matter how creative he is, right? It's still going to be, you know, no one player is taking that over. And arguably, football is the one sport where you can really say that. You know, basketball, one guy can dominate. Hockey, arguably, one guy can dominate. You know, we see that, you know, Ovechkin with the Capitals and other people. Baseball, you know, one or two guys can dominate, you know, because it's a lot of individual playing. right? It's so much individual playing surrounded by the team. In football, 2 guys are always involved at all times, minimum. So,
more than that. It's so many moving parts in football.
But at a minimum, to score points, the quarterback and whoever he's giving the ball to has to be on point.
Not to mention the key blockers too.
Got to have a target. Got to have those blockers. You got to have all that.
And you got to have decoys. You got to have players that look like they're going to get the ball, but
or good enough to
or good enough.
Yeah.
Get the defense to bite.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, like when I was learning to coach, and doing these things, when I was playing and learning back in high school and things like that, it was, that old school, run the ball, pound the ball, make them think you're going to run it, and then, then try to throw it. And now they get a little more fancy. They do different things. But all in all, I think it's just been a weird year, too.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of weird injuries. I mean, you had how many all-star players just out?
Dak is gone.
Dak's gone now.
Trevor Lawrence, it looks like he's
Trevor
gone.
Lawrence, I got that. Is he gone? Because I've got him. I got to drop him.
They haven't sent officially yet, but it looks like his season's over. Zach Moss is gone. Deshaun Watson's gone, but, who's going to miss him? Larry's going to miss him. Larry played him for a little bit.
Did I?
I mean,
Yeah.
how much are the Browns just angry right now? Like,
guaranteed a full $200 million contract, and they can't get rid of him.
Is this the first year that they've had like every weekend a game in Europe?
This is where they've had it consistently. Yeah, I think they've had 4 or 5 games already. No, I'm sorry, 4 games in Europe and 1 in Brazil.
It seems like every weekend there's some game kicking off at breakfast.
Yep.
yeah.
And I wonder statistically like how those teams are doing like the following week or just dealing with the logistics and the travel of that, if it's wearing on.
I think.
I would imagine it is. I mean,
but didn't they have in Europe at least they had the same team play 2 weeks in a row? I think one of the teams played 2 weeks in a row. So that wasn't that bad.
I don't know. Because we got what do we got? New York, Carolina.
Yeah. Sorry, Europe, for that game. I think that's in Germany.
It is, yeah. That's at Alliance Arena in Munich. I mean, arguably, you could make the argument that the trip to Brazil, not terrible, right? I mean, at least it's a similar time zone to what you're used to playing. I mean, if say you're the New England Patriots and you've got to go play in Brazil, it's kind of like going to L.A. to play the Rams, right? Not exactly, but
it's a long flight.
I'm talking time-wise though, right? Like you're not dealing with that jet lag. I mean, when you go, if you're going from, I mean, luckily it's 2 East Coast teams going to Europe, so it's not terrible. And I would imagine that's by design, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, can you imagine? I mean, there's a big difference between a flight from LaGuardia to
Heathrow or
wherever they go in Germany. I don't know. The only place I know is Tempelhof, and that's been closed since the 40s. But, and then like going from like LA to Germany, because either way, you're either going all the way across the U.S. and across the Atlantic, or you're going all the way over Russia. So, it's one of the two.
Well, my experience is the NFL doesn't look that closely at the needs of the teams or the players.
Yeah.
It's more about what's going to get a rating. And,
Oh, absolutely.
And
like they've changed Sunday night games because the contest doesn't look like it's going to be competitive enough. So they'll actually change the games out. Maybe not Sunday night, but they'll do the mid-afternoon Sunday games.
Well, I think they'll change up the TV, the games that are on TV.
Yeah. Contractually, there's usually like a shift. I can't think of the name that we say for it. Flex. So depending on the rights holder, they'll have the option to take a different team, a different matchup.
Yeah,
it's all written in the contracts.
I just need to figure out how I can watch the New York Rangers on TV again. That's the only thing.
Don't they have like an NHL pass, like similar to NFL?
Yeah, but look at what happens with NHL Pass, NBA League Pass, at the NFL.
So you don't get
the local games still get blacked out.
Even though you have no way of really watching it on TV.
Yeah, because I think it was the first week or the second week that we were doing the podcast because Eric's got the NFL Red Zone tied to the Village Lodge account, and I had popped up. I wanted to see the score on the New England game, and I popped it up, and it's all black. Like, no, you can't. it's a low because it's available in your local market.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Do you get a VPN and pretend you're like in Europe?
you
or
can,
something?
but I mean that's the thing. Like,
Why should we?
Why should I have to jump through hoops?
For a law that's
Right.
from 1950?
Like, I understand that, and I understand the whole idea of, you know, he who laid the cable should be able to do what they want with it. But I mean, at this point, if you can't figure out a way to democratize this, you know,
We're
flip it
gonna
around.
lose
This is why piracy is a problem,
Yeah.
right? It's not because people don't want to pay to see something. It's because even when they pay to see something, they can't, or they have to find some ridiculous workaround for it. I mean, at
Right.
least we have a workaround now.
So where is the Ranger game being?
So
aired?
they exclusively are on MSG, except
Okay.
for the games. You know, you'll get a random game that's on NBC, or I think TNT has
Yeah,
NHL
hockey.
too. So I can watch on Hulu,
ESPN has.
you know,
NHL.
or ESPN. Well, it's ABC, ESPN. So yeah, so if they're the ESPN game,
Yeah. Then you-
usually I can get it because I subscribe to ESPN Plus through Hulu, and that's usually how I watch the games. But I live in New England. I should be able to watch the teams that are
Right.
in the area.
Yeah.
You know, but same thing with the Bruins. Like, try to watch the Bruins outside of Nesson. Forget about it.
Right. I kind of get where that's coming from, though. They want if Nesson's paying the rights for
Yeah.
the product, they want to drive viewers to Nesson, right? So,
But make it so I can get Nesson and watch it. Well, and I'll say this: at least with Nesson, they have a subscription. So I think there's like a Nesson Plus or something. There's nothing like that for MSG. Like, well, you can go to Fubo if you want to stream it, and that's really your option because Comcast dropped MSG years ago,
Yep.
and they've never gotten it back. So if you want to watch the Knicks, the Nets, or the Rangers, and
Devils. The Devils still on there?
I don't know.
The Devils still playing? I don't know.
They still play. They still play. We're off on a hockey tangent now,
Yeah.
but
That's all right.
so we got some good matchups this week in the NFL.
Well, just a scoring update, guys. It is now 17-14 Carolina
17-14
with
Carolina.
8 seconds left. Giants have the ball.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me see. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Shovel.
Chuba Hubbard is doing very well for you right now.
I need that.
But
I'm up against
Again, it's
Worshipful Master. So he gets
it's another one of
bonus
the
points.
it's another one of those weeks where I love to look at the ticket prices or the potential
yeah,
ticket
how
prices.
we do, in Munich? How are we doing?
Well, those are gone.
Oh,
I mean,
gotcha.
so you can't see that. If you want to go see the Bears at Soldier Field today, it's going to cost you $170.
Okay. Yeah, but it's
You want to go to
Bears.
Indy and see a game, $125.
Really? Who are they playing?
The Bills. That'll actually be a
Okay,
good game.
yeah, I can see that.
I'd see that. And you're inside.
Yeah, you want to go to KC today? Minimum spend $260.
Well, yeah, because Taylor
Minimum,
Swift's going to be
minimum
there, so
spend
you
is
have-
$260.
You have to pay that tax.
But then if you want to go to New Orleans to watch Atlanta, $40.
Yeah,
$40 is your
$40.
cheapest ticket
They
according
have
to
no wide-
NFL.com.
All they have is Alvin Kamara, and that's basically
You want to head down to Tampa? It's going to cost you $80.
that's not too bad.
That's good.
You know,
When I was doing U.S. Open, the Mets had tickets for like $10 on Tuesday.
Really?
And it was like $5 for a beer or a hot dog or whatever. You know, it was tempting.
yeah. Last time I was out in Colorado, we didn't go, but they do something at Coors Field. Apparently, my boss was telling me about it because he lives out in Denver. It's like $25, and you get like a lower level seat at at Rocky Stadium
Oh, wow.
and like a beer and a hot dog. And I don't know why we didn't go. We should have gone. The Commanders, absolutely off their record. $253 is a minimum spend to go see the Washington Commanders versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game though, man.
How much cocaine?
That's gonna,
How much cocaine?
I mean, I wouldn't pay. I
Go
would
at
not,
$250.
I would not pay that, but that's gonna be a good game.
You know, and then back down to Jacksonville, $37.
Yeah, but who wants to see Jacksonville?
Jacksonville versus Minnesota. Here's the slabber.
Minnesota?
The Chargers versus the Titans in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium. What do you think the lowest ticket price is?
I see a,
$280.
$280.
I see 100.
$16.
What?
Wow.
Tickets as low as $16.
All right. Well, they want to fill them seats. Okay, see, I would go to that just for $16. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dallas, $40 to go see the Cowgirls.
Are they playing at Cowgirl Stadium?
They're playing in Arlington at AT&T Stadium versus the Eagles. That's gonna be a good game.
That will be a good game.
Arizona, $33. Detroit at Houston, $150.
That's gonna be a good game too. We have a lot of good games this weekend.
And then, but here's the disparity, right? So we were just talking about the Chargers at $16 at SoFi Stadium. Well, who else plays at SoFi Stadium? Rams.
Rams, yeah.
$70. Okay, now it's a Monday night game on ESPN
Okay.
versus Miami, though. Like how? Just the price disparity. I just don't
Yeah,
understand.
but
it.
don't forget, you have to go into LA to go see them. Who wants to go driving into LA to go to a football game?
Well, then you'd think the ticket price would be lower.
Well, I mean, $70 isn't that high.
No, I know it's not that high. It's just the range, right? Like,
16 is just blows my mind. Like, does no one care about the team?
apparently not.
Well, no, and again,
Well, that's why I mean,
California traffic,
the
LA traffic
Athletics
is the
now,
worst.
because that's all they are. They've dropped Oakland completely from
Yeah.
the name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they'll be in Vegas in 3 years.
Yeah.
And now sports wonder why they have a betting problem.
They take prop bets on everything. I love it.
Well, who was that kid that just got arrested? I was just reading about it. It was like a 6 to 9 month investigation. I want to say it was an LSU kid, but don't quote me. But apparently he was just placing bets all over the place
Really?
and winning, but he was also he was placing parlays on himself.
Oh, so in college, like playing in college, or
He
Oh,
got
he's a
it.
player.
Placing parlay bets on himself. Like, I'll get 150 yards in three buckets or whatever. I was like, oh man,
that's stupid.
that's ballsy.
But it's dumb
That
because
takes
they get
balls.
caught. They get caught all the time on that, man.
Well, and again, today with all the technology, like you're tracked.
Yeah,
everything you do is
everything,
tracked.
everything.
The government's on top of this podcast right now.
Shout out G-Men.
Pete Rose got caught in the 70s.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking that LSU player probably doesn't even know who Pete Rose is.
Right.
And Pete just bet on himself to win, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Calvin Ridley do the same thing like 2 years ago?
Was it Calvin Ridley?
I think it was Calvin Ridley.
Maybe.
He might not have been placing bets on himself, but he was placing bets and he got caught for it.
I don't know. I mean, this is one of those topics. It's like the whole NIL thing and the transfer portal thing. I think
Yeah.
is just killing college sports. It's just killing college sports.
It's awful.
I mean, if you want to call the kids what they are and give them a salary, like I'm all for that. But because it's also, and I get it. Everything in life is a popularity contest, unfortunately. But what about those kids who? Some poor lineman from Notre Dame. It's not like Nike's beating down his door to give him an endorsement contract.
No, they're saving their money. And another update: the Carolina-New York game is tied now. They're going into overtime, guys.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that was in the script this week.
Germans are getting their money's worth.
I don't know.
Well,
Larry, over at ESPN, does Goodell give you guys the script every week, or are you in awe just like the rest of us?
No comment. You never know who's listening. That's not my thing. I'm strictly tennis, and I know nothing about that either. So
that's okay. I'm still convinced that Larry gets Matthew Berry to help him. Like I know you got his email or something like that.
Got him on speed dial.
Got him on speed dial.
luckily, I know nothing about sports really.
No
I'm
Field Gates. You don't have.
No, but I'm surrounded by people that do. So shout out to Kevin Peterson.
There you go.
There
Shout
we
out
go.
Kevin Peterson. Shout out to Field Gates and the rest of the fantasy football show on ESPN. You guys are great.
Outstanding. All right, well, let's talk about our league, boys. Let's talk about this week's matchups.
All right.
Week 10. We always start with me just because it's my computer, so I'm at the top.
Why not?
But I've got Joey, and Joey, I apologize. I like you, bud, but I'm taking you out behind the woodshed. It's not even close. I don't.
It's not going to be. Let's see who.
Much like another event this week, I do not see a path to victory for Joe at this point.
Unless Aaron Rodgers throws to Bryce Allen 3 or 4 times and gets touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't
Like
see it
there's
happening.
not.
But it should. I think it's going to be No, it's not, because Jamar Chase just absolutely, between him and Chris Brown, just absolutely.
Chase Brown.
And
then Mark Andrews had another good week.
And then Mark Andrews, another good week. So I'm glad I held on to him. I had him,
They're going up against Cooper Rush of all quarterbacks. So
that's going to be an absolute bloodbath.
You made the right choice picking them for your defense.
I mean, hey, since we are talking trades, I got Trevor Lawrence available if anybody needs a quarterback. Andrew?
Joe, I know you got Aaron Rodgers right now, but
Trevor Lawrence could be the linchpin to your offense.
I mean, Sam Laporta might have Drake London might have a good game, but there's no coming back from that 55 points that Jamar Chase gave you.
What's the deal with? I didn't even notice Keenan Coleman was out.
But he's had no one play.
Pardon?
None of his games have started yet. Just the Giants game, right? So he's got room to move.
He's got some runway, but I mean.
But just looking at the matchups for his players, it's not looking
98.6 to 0.6. Yeah, it's over. Sorry, Joe.
All right, Larry. Let's look at Larry's.
All right, let's look at where Larry's. Who's
playing? He's playing Worshipful Master, right?
Worshipful Master, yeah.
Now you are up at the moment.
No, he's not.
You're down at the moment, but you've got a projected win here.
I do now.
You do. You're projected.
So that switched since short time.
Yeah.
Well, Chuba Hubbard's 26
giving
points.
You 26.
Yeah.
So he outkicked his coverage today.
And he's other than my kicker, he's the only one who has started.
Yeah. And when you got that KCD, which they've been doing well this year, I got to give them that.
Yeah, and they're only going up against Denver, so.
Yeah, that's why I kept them.
And then you got your running back duo of Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to put up big numbers for you. DJ Moore versus New England. I mean, as long as he's not shadowed by Christian Gonzalez.
No, it's going to be a big day for the Bears.
Yeah.
And they're playing at home, which is it's an advantage for them. So that.
Conversely, he has Breece Hall. Tyrone Tracy gave up good numbers this morning, 17 points. Daniel Jones, 16 points right now. So he's not bad. He's got Jonathan Taylor playing, Kittle if he has a good game. It's going to be a very competitive game, Larry.
Yeah.
I think it will be.
When is it over? Do I have anything going on Monday? No, we're all done today.
Yeah, we're all done today. No, he has. You have player playing on Monday. Jonnu Smith,
Just
tight
again,
end.
look at Daniel Jones' stat line, guys. Granted, it's OT. He's playing a bad team. There's two bad teams there, but
they lost the ball. They don't have control of the ball anymore.
22 of 37, 190 yards, 2 picks. 2 picks
against Carolina.
Come on.
He didn't throw for any touchdowns. He ran one in.
Yeah, he ran one in.
And then they had 3 field goals.
3 field goals. So I'm just not seeing that one. But
no,
it is.
I think he knows he's done too. I think he really just threw in the towel.
So what do you think of my quarterback picks? I've got Sam Darnold, or on the bench I have Stafford.
I say go with Darnold against.
Yeah, I go with Darnold against Jacksonville. I mean, Stafford versus Miami will be a good game. Miami's defense isn't bad though.
No, it's not bad. Jacksonville is atrocious, and they give up a lot of passing yards. So you're probably going to see a good game like you did last week from him.
Yeah,
so
I would say that's
20
accurate.
to 30 points at the minimum. Probably
Yeah.
25 to 30 points minimum. So again, it's looking up for you, Larry.
All right.
But
I think Larry will win again.
I think so.
I think Larry will win again.
Larry did well last year. Larry and I played each other in the playoffs, and then we played each other again for what I think 3rd or 4th place.
Yeah.
And and that was your first year.
I'm really hoping that it as long as we just keep beating Justin, like that's the.
I don't know. He's got a lot of points overall, right?
Well, that's
if we
the
go
thing.
back to let's look at overall league points.
Okay.
How do we do that?
If you go down to the standings on the league page, you can check it out.
Yeah, if you look, he's rocking 1,200.
He has.
Yeah, the rest of us are right around 1,000.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. He only needs 1 loss in the playoffs. That's it.
True.
He's making it to the playoffs. That's the inevitability. He's making it to the playoffs. Now, which one of us, the rest of us, are going to fill those 7 slots?
But I mean, there's just so many. I mean, look at it, right? So in our division, which is you, me, and Justin, are all in it. And Larry, you're in there too, right? 7-2, 6-3 for Larry, 5-4, 5-4, 5-4, 5-4.
All the way down to Andrew.
All the way down to Andrew, who's 1-8. You know, and it's a similar story. It's a little bit different over on the other side. Nick at 6-3, Chris Olsen at 6-3, 5-4, and then 4-5, 3-6, 3-6, 2-7.
Like,
so
here's the standings as far as the playoffs go right now, and we get this last week. Playoffs start on week 15, so we have 5 more weeks counting this week. Right now, Justin's at first. Nick is second. Chris Olsen is third. Larry, you're fourth. Trevor is fifth. Tim, you're number 6. I'm 7th, and then Rob Namias is 8th. So that's, if playoffs were tomorrow, that's the standings right now. So, and again, things our league is so tight right now as far as wins go. It's going to come down to points for a bunch of us. And again, to your point, it's all about Justin lose.
Well, Justin lose, but you got to put up points on him, right?
Yeah,
and you got to put up points on him,
which I did not when I played him a couple weeks ago. You know, it is what it is.
Failure.
Yeah, you know, my team did not come out for me, and you know I accept that. But I'm coming back though.
Yeah.
Don't call it a comeback. Speaking of my game, I'm going against Worshipful Master Rob today.
And the Giants just lost.
And the Giant. Did Carolina score a touchdown or field goal?
Just a field goal.
Okay, well that's all you needed.
That's all you needed.
That's well, way to go, Carolina. I mean, you showed some life, or the Giants just didn't want the win. Right now, Rob's got 3 points up on me. His kicker he had a Baltimore kicker, and he went on Thursday. Put up 3 points for him. I've got Jaden Daniels going up against Pittsburgh. That's going to be a tough game, but I think Jaden's going to ball out like he usually does. I got Javon Achan, and since Tua's come back, it's been, wheels off, or training wheels off anyway, wheels on the ground, and he's just been putting up points for me. Unfortunately, Brian Robinson is a scratch. I don't have anybody else to put in, and I'm not dropping anyone, so he's staying in my lineup, posting up a big 0 for me today, so that's a risk. Then I have the Sun God. He's going to come out against the Houston defense. Cooper Kupp. I'm sticking with T.J. Hawkinson for the moment. He just came back after not playing for a whole year. Once he gets back in the swing of things, he's going to put up good numbers for me. And then Devontae Adams is also going to do big for me. And then the Minnesota defense.
Why wouldn't you just drop the Bears defense from your bench and pick somebody up?
Well, because I want to trade them to you so you can have them.
Denied.
Well,
so there you go. Denied.
Well, that's fine. All right.
Denied. Rejected.
Then I'll keep them for the matchups. That's
rejected.
Fine. Okay. That's fine.
No, just letting you know.
All right, great.
Hard pass.
That's fine.
Now, if you want to talk about giving up...
But if you want to see the Eagles' rest of their season's schedule, you're not going to have it so easy as you do today. And they're they're the 25th defense in the league right now?
Maybe so. But I kind of I drift defenses, so in and out. But we can make a deal for maybe I'm on St. Brown.
No, for Pacheco, no. No,
Cooper Kupp?
No. Mm-hmm. No, why don't you make it worth my while? I was willing to give you 2 players for the one. If you want one of those, you're gonna have to give me something better than Pacheco, who may or may not, knowing Kansas City's backfield situation historically.
Did you get Pacheco and Trevor Lawrence?
So you denied.
Look, you had your chance.
Okay, all right, suit yourself, man.
Keenan Coleman.
Come on, man. See, this is the shit that Tim always pulls year after year. I think we had one successful trade that worked out for both of us.
Maybe.
The first year, I think.
I don't trade because trade rape is a real thing.
It is.
I'm not.
Like Tank Dell is also a real thing.
He exists, yes, as an actual human. Yes, he exists. As a known
quantity, he exists. There's nothing. We don't even know when Pacheco's coming back yet. So if anybody's
I understand that. I understand that you're hedging your bets there. I understand
exactly.
that. I just.
Which is why I'm not giving up a top tier wide receiver.
And well, I mean, we can talk.
We can talk.
We can talk. We can
Definitely. Well, let's go through the rest of the games for today.
Bobby Mack up against Sheamus.
Chili King.
Chili King.
Congrats to everybody being Master Masons yesterday. Sheamus, one of them. Trevor and Andrew as well. You guys did great. Welcome to the fold, guys. But
Yeah, lots to do there. Just kind of stand there and try not to fall over.
Right. Well, Andrew fought, and I like that, man. He put up a fight, and I
Dude,
like that a lot.
so yeah, I was watching him when Chris was doing his thing, and he was like,
yeah, he
Squared
was.
off.
he was.
I
was like,
loved it.
all right,
That's
yeah,
my
I
dude.
guess it. Your boy's got some spunk there,
I
Larry.
was having a hard
Like,
time not laughing at it.
Me too. I was like, oh my god. I was just standing there watching. It was,
I was
it was
like-
fantastic.
yeah. And then I was too far away when Johnny did his thing, but I saw it was a little bit of
Oh,
It was
John.
a little hard to get him down.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
the guys really had to scoop him up.
Ozog almost swept the leg.
Yeah.
He really did. He almost had to.
yeah, it was great. So yeah, Bobby Max having a good day here. Chris Ozog having a good day against Andrew.
Yep.
You know,
Way to come back, Chris.
um,
And we have Chris Olsen.
Chris Olsen's
against
down against
Trevor.
Trev.
But Chris Olsen only had one player so far, and Trev's had his stack of Lamar Jackson and King Henry.
Oh yeah, but Lamar Jackson just
He's gonna have a great.
that's what I'm saying. Like that year I had Lamar Jackson, like he was a stud until he wasn't.
Yeah.
And that was a problem. And this is about the time that first year where
Yep.
he just started tanking, and I made the mistake of riding him and not really having a backup plan.
And that's when I beat you.
It is when you beat me. But that's going to be a good matchup. Justin and Nick going at it. Justin projected to lose right now, but not by a lot.
Not,
it's
not counting him out yet.
Let's look at that one.
It's,
see what's-
Yeah,
let's take a look. So it's a 10-point swing right now.
Well, Joe Burrow put up a 40-burger on Thursday night for Nick. So
Yeah, Joey Burrow did. Yeah, Joey Burrow did very well. I think I think when I first looked at this, they were flip flopped. I think Justin was projected to win.
I don't think Purdy's going to put up monster number. I think if he gets
Against
21
Tampa?
points, yeah, Tampa D's no joke. So but he's got Christian McCaffrey coming back today, so they might do a couple of dump offs to him, and that might pad his numbers a little
It
bit.
might, but he's also a
Injury risk.
you gotta wonder how much use McCaffrey's going to see first game back. With
20
that.
touches they're calling it right now,
Could be.
but we'll see, and that might include getting receptions as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
You got
again,
Mixon versus Williams at that number one running back slot.
and then he's got Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara versus Saquon Barkley.
But-
That's a
He has CeeDee Lamb, who Dak is out for the year, and then he's got Cooper Rush.
and Saquon's going against that Cowboys defense that's not great.
Yeah, so
And not great against the run. So I think Saquon's going to put up more than 18.
If Zay Flowers had a bigger game, I think.
And then CeeDee Lamb, I don't know, without Dak.
Cooper Rush can't throw it down the field. He can
No.
barely throw midfield. He's going to have a lot of dump offs to Ferguson, I think.
I mean, and then again we get back down to the tight ends where it's just been a disappointing year at tight end across the board. I think.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of day Kelsey has today.
Well, whatever Mrs. Swift wants to do.
Hey, got to keep her happy, man.
Yeah, flex looks good. Yeah.
And then defense, he's got Justin has the Buffalo D coming up, and
Versus Indy.
Baltimore D did well for
Baltimore
for
D
Nick.
did do well, 34. Yeah, but it's the points that kill. Like, you look at that line. Take out those points. If they could have kept the points off the board, that's a much.
Oh yeah,
bigger
that's a 20-point game right there.
2 fourth down stops,
Yep.
fumble recovery, 2
3
forced fumbles,
sacks.
3 sacks, and partridge in a pear tree. And then
But-
look at Justin's bench though. Dak Prescott out, Brooks out,
Out.
Higgins out.
And his line all year has been stay healthy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. But this is what happens though, and this is marquee players going down this early in the year. Again, this year is just so.
Well, we're at the
freaking
midpoint
weird.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at the midpoint.
But you hear usually there are a couple of WR1s go down and a couple of running back 2s will go down.
But usually not that early in the year.
No.
And it's
And we have 4 QB1s that are out.
yep. Yeah.
I mean, that's huge, and that changes the trajectory of so many seasons right
Changes the game, man. Changes the
now.
game.
Changes the whole damn game.
Change the game, baby.
Yeah, babe. All right. What else? Do you have anybody else? No, we covered.
No,
everybody.
we've covered everybody. You know, we're good. It's another good week here. You know, for everybody. I think lots of good games today. I gotta actually that New England. My buddy Jason's a huge Bears fan, so I think I'm gonna end up going over and watching the game a little bit with him.
Well, that'll be fun. No, did you watch the Baltimore and Cincinnati game on Thursday?
No.
It was freaking nuts.
I don't have time to watch football anymore. I don't have time to watch anything.
I do while I'm working. I'll have the game on when I'm working at night.
I can't. I'm very. I've got to stay focused. When I'm doing stuff, especially when I'm buried in data.
I listen until some huge you hear the crowd going around the announcements.
Yeah, and then you look over.
You rewind it and stuff like that. But they had a penalty. They had a penalty that was not called on the 2-point conversion for Cincy, and that was. Did you see the replay for that?
Officiating is
awful.
Absolutely awful. It's absolutely
that was blatant
awful.
Pass interference. That would have given Cincinnati 4 more down, or no, it would have given them another try for the 2-point conversion.
How you get some of these calls wrong, I don't get. And I've been officiating sports since I was 17. I started helping out reffing lacrosse and stuff like that. I made plenty of bad, terrible calls.
Yeah.
But they're few and far between, and it's never been something blatant. It's always there's a good amount of subjectivity when you're reffing a game, umpiring, whatever. There's a certain amount of subjectivity because it's a little bit of how the rule was interpreted. Right, there's a lot that goes into officiating. They go through scenarios, right, and they'll give you scenarios in a book, and they'll be like, okay, player A does this, and player B, and is it this or is it that? But then it's also how do you interpret the interpretation,
right?
Because I've read some things and I completely disagree with disagree with it, and it might tweak your view a little bit, I'll let certain things go a little more. Like in lacrosse, I'll let people whack a little more, than some other officials will, or whatever it might be. So there's a certain amount of that leeway that you give people. But when it's in lacrosse, if you catch them on the helmet with your stick, it's a flag. I don't care. I don't care. The other weird rule in lacrosse is goaltender interference. And my coach taught me this when I was a player. Attackmen will stand in front of the crease because they can't touch the goalie in the crease. So they'll stand there if you've got the ball because you've only got 5 seconds to get rid of the ball. And if I had nobody, I would throw my outlet pass and I would just follow through and hit the stick of the guy who's standing there. Well, that's a penalty on him.
Oh, okay.
I hit him, but he interfered with me making my pass. So it's it's little things like that. It's a nuance. But when it's something completely just blatant. You saw it. You saw it. It was like that face mask last week against the Vikings.
Yeah, that was crazy. How?
And
so many people saying, I don't know if you're familiar with what happened on Thursday, Larry, but it was in the waning seconds of the game. Huge score, Baltimore had 34, or 35, excuse me. Cincinnati scores on a long touchdown. So they opt to go for the 2-point conversion to go for the win. Mm-hmm. They could have tied it up with the extra point, kick the extra point, and go to overtime, but they opted to go for the win. And there's some blatant, the defense and knocked the receiver before the ball even got to him. So that's pass interference.
Yeah.
It's wide open. You can see it on so many different angles, and the ref didn't call it.
Well, and then you've got the fact that nobody seems to want to adjust it or do anything. And I get it. You shouldn't criticize the refs. Don't criticize the refs as a player.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And I tell my guys, don't, because they immediately start. He did this. I'm like, let them do their job. That's their job. It's my job to talk to them in between periods or during a timeout. Hey, Larry, and I'll do that. I'll go to a ref. I'll be like, dude, they're whacking pretty hard. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But sometimes it can help refocus the game. But if you think about it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 9 officials on a football field, an NFL football field, on the field. How many up in the booth? How many cameras?
New York is watching.
New York is watching. They've got rules in place, right? Every scoring play is reviewed. Everything is reviewed, but you can't review like
pass interference.
Pass interference, you can't review that. They do it they're doing instant replay in baseball now.
But the number of times these misses have happened week after week, something's got to give.
Well, I think it's kind of like the argument about robot refs. I disagree with that.
No,
I think there has to be a human element to sport. Otherwise, it just becomes mechanical. And why watch it? Why not just watch robots play? But
works great for tennis.
Yeah, but you're just watching the lineouts and stuff like that. So that's easier to ref than that.
Well, tennis is right. It's about the line, right? So the human eye cannot necessarily there's limitations of what people can do and what people can see.
Yeah.
And a tennis ball moving at over 100 miles an hour in some cases, it's hard to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. It's like certain calls. Like again, when I was reffing lacrosse, and I had this done to me when I was in high school, and it ticked me off. We generally have in high school. There's 2 officials, right? There's a lead and a trail. So the job of the lead ref is he goes downfield. He follows the ball downfield. So he's responsible for looking at the goal, the crease, and the offensive play, and it's the responsibility of the trail ref. He's picking up offsides, things that are happening behind the play. When and sometimes you'll have one ref, especially in a junior varsity game, youth games. A lot of times we only have one ref. And there was this. I can't stand it when people will call like crease violations from center field. You can't see that.
No,
you can't see that. Even if it swings both ways. Like when my goalie will be like screaming, he's in the crease. I'm like, dude, he's at midfield. He can't make that call.
Yeah.
And if you did make that call, you didn't see it. I know you didn't see it because I've been you. I've been you, and you didn't see it. You're making an assumption based on those things. So in tennis, I see it. Right? It's very black or white.
Oh, yeah.
If the ball hits the line or goes over, it's out.
Yep.
Right? It makes sense there. But calling balls and strikes a little bit. The only reason I don't think robot refs work is because that strike zone is different for every player. Right? There's a big difference between Aaron Judge's strike zone at almost 7 feet tall.
Oh, yeah.
And how tall was Chuck Knobloch? Wasn't that guy like 5'2"?
But they can they can make adjustments for that.
They can make adjustments. There's also like where you're standing in the box, what the way that the catcher frames the ball, like that all plays a role in that. It's not black and white. But I still think you can Monday morning quarterback it a little bit, and also look, as someone who works in tech, your data is only as good as whoever wrote that program.
Right.
Right. And the more that you let computers get involved, the more opportunity there is for fraud.
Yep.
You think about how many things are hacked, and sports betting now becoming so ubiquitous, right? I do it. I place bets on my phone. What am I? My FanDuel. I think I'm a FanDuel guy.
Yeah.
I think I have both. Just whoever's got.
Have you heard of ESPN Bet?
I have.
You want to make a plug?
You want to make a
Go
plug?
ahead. Go ahead.
You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
But
exactly. So make a plug. Go ahead.
the more that you get, money involved in that side of it, the more incentive there is. Yes, to get the call right. But then the more incentive there is for somebody to try to hack that, for somebody to try to manipulate that system. And it only takes a couple of lines of code.
Yep.
Sometimes all it takes, people don't realize this, a decimal instead of a comma, a 1 instead of a 2.
Oh, yeah, and that happens all
you
the time.
completely change what's going on with a system. So if we start relying heavily on these AI, and all this stuff, and it's unregulated, it's unwatched, it's unchecked, and it's based on who paid for it, right? ESPN could go out tomorrow and say, hey, we found this guy Tim, and he wrote a new balls and strikes program. We think it looks pretty cool. We're gonna go with that, not this one now. I'm a huge Yankee fan, so throw a line of code in there, NY minus 12, whatever it might be. So all of a sudden, every pitch is a ball.
Yeah.
Even the ones that are not. I'm not saying it would happen. I'm saying there's a lot of potential there, and we've
AI
become so reliant on technology to make decisions for us, not to help us make decisions.
But
And
to make our own
that
decisions,
is that is the big differentiator, and you see this in a lot of kids now. They are letting the technology make the decision for them rather than them making the decision for them. And they market it now. Like, I don't, if you're on Instagram and you you flick through reels, like I see a lot of reels for these AI programs. It's like how to cheat. Like they flat out say it's like how to cheat in college. Like, we will not be detected by your your professor who's doing an AI check. And if you think that's not going to make its way down to other areas of life, you're very naive.
And it's sad. But, going back to your example from baseball, the umpire behind the plate, I think they're in a position to get it right more of the time, and AI can be used as a check.
It can be used as a check. It can be used as a check.
Where the foul line is, we can use that as a check. But they're the ones that can see best whether or not the strike zone is and where outside or inside the ball is. But yeah, to have that just autonomously be a machine is just
when you look at the pitch thing that they throw up on TV now, right?
Yeah.
Like watch. Because a lot of times now you can get like the home broadcast, the away broadcast. You can see the different ones. Like one might be broadcasting on Fox, and another one might be broadcasting on TNT or whatever. And just look at the strike zone box that they'll throw up there. It's different.
Yeah,
like it's vastly different depending on what system they're using.
Well, yeah, and in football, you see what Fox does and
but the thing with football is, and the reason why I think there's almost no excuse for getting a call wrong. Is it is not like there is any. Let me rephrase that. There is definitely a component of trying to hurry things up.
Yep.
Right.
I agree.
And that 2-minute drill. But if you've got one guy on that field, one of the officiating crew, and he's like, "Yeah, I think we need to look at that." I get that you don't want to impact the game, especially if people have things going on. But I think you almost have to impact the game because you don't want to
get it wrong,
especially when it's that tight. That's my 2 cents on it.
No, I totally agree with you, man.
I think the human element needs to be there, but I think when it is blatant and it happens on a repeated basis, I mean, then you start looking at the people.
Yeah.
I mean, because these guys are not getting paid an insignificant amount of money to do this, right? I mean, it's NFL referee. Look at that! It's like this. It's like the first Google search. They're making up to $270,000 a year.
Wow!
And
to work for 18 weeks.
18 weeks.
Wow!
Right now, and I'm sure there's bonuses in there.
Yep.
You do the playoffs, you do the Super Bowl, because I know that's the way it is. Like in reffing lacrosse, you're lucky if you get $10 to ref a youth game, and you get up to like high school varsity, and they'll pay you like $65 or $70 a game. But then you get up to like college level and Division II. But when you get like NCAA Division I lacrosse official, like those guys get like $500 or $600 to ref one of those games. It's not a little bit of money, and $13,000 a game. Right.
We're in the wrong business, dude.
And I've read somewhere. I've read somewhere like a lot of these guys, this is a part-time job for them.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like it's a full-time thing, and
they're still making that much money.
So it's it's crazy.
That was the maximum, right? The 270.
They're saying that the range is between, let's put it back up here, 205 and 270, and that's whatever this blog is, but.
Now, is that for individual refs?
So I'm seeing here.
Team?
I mean, here's another one: 205 to 250. So it's somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000 for 18, 19 weeks of work.
Wow, that's more than some rookies get.
The average NFL referee salary, according to this website, is $205,000 a year.
And just in case you guys weren't aware, the games have started, so definitely start looking at those. Look at your app and see how you're doing.
They have, and I'm going to bid you guys adieu because I started a little late.
Brother?
I'm going to get going and
Thank you for stopping
take care
by.
of some other stuff.
Larry, thanks for coming out,
Thanks,
brother.
yeah. Great to see you guys.
Hey, I'll come back. And just in case you guys want to know, at Village Lodge on Friday, Larry and I are going to be here watching the Tyson Paul fight. We're going to get some pizza, we're going to get some beers, and it's going to be a good time.
Can we do something besides pizza? Like
Well, what do you want? Yeah, we can do
or
wings.
something, you know.
Yeah, we can do wings.
Do some wings.
Yeah.
You know, so, so let's bolo for that. I mean, I think we're done. So,
Yeah, brother.
you know, let's
Well, let's wrap it up then.
let's wrap it up then. Do your thing.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. I'm Eric,
I'm Tim.
and this is
Larry.
and this is the Village Idiots podcast. We are Connecticut's best Masonic fantasy football podcast because we are Connecticut's only Masonic fantasy football podcast. Be good to each other, stay warm, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great week, everybody.
Take care.
Bye, y'all.